and gentlemen, I hope you're feeling good because it is the latest expansion-packed episode of the Switch It Up Show. I am your host today, Seth Trav, joined as always by our friend Glenn.
Hello, Mr. Trav, how are you?
I am doing quite well, but I could use a pill, my guy, because I've got that certain itch for the Nintendo Switch, and that's the clue for the game I'm going to be reviewing today. But before we get to that, we're going to let the sweet beats ride. Anamanaguche, ladies and gentlemen. So, the pill that I am swallowing today, ladies and gentlemen, is from Big Pharma. It is currently available, and it is $29.99 when you get it on the eShop. Big Pharma is part business sim, part logistics puzzle. What if you had it in your power to rid the world of disease, to improve the lives of millions, to ease suffering and cure the sickness and earn a tidy profit? As the head of your own pharmaceutical conglomerate, you have this power resting in your hands. Will you use it for good? Being totally altruistic may not be the best business plan. The uncomfortable truth, is there an ointment for that? Is that some remedies are more profitable than others, and illness is good for business. Welcome to the world of Big Pharma. 35 business-busting challenges spread across 7 unique scenarios. Custom game mode, free build mode, tons of new ingredients and recipes to discover, high-tech machines to help you refine the next generation of world-changing drugs, wide range of business models to fit your pharmaceutical conglomerate. It's from Clabatter and Positech Games. So, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't ever really consider this a logistics puzzle game, but that is what it is. It is much more, I want to say, about the logistics of it. I was actually looking forward to playing mostly a, business sim managing game, as there are so many out there. That involved an assembly line of some sorts, and this was pharmaceuticals. Thought it would be super, super cool. It's actually fairly difficult on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm not sure if that's because the port over itself isn't that well defined or designed for the Nintendo Switch's architecture, but it is fairly difficult to navigate and control using the Nintendo Switch, which is a shame because it seems like it would be interesting, or like it would handle better. Because ports of maybe it's because of the way that the game operates with its heavy logistics focus. The idea of it and the main crux and sort of puzzle aspect is that you can't just bring in pills and supplies. You have to set up other areas of, say, aerators, and I think what they call a vitamizer, something like that, that will actually combine the pills, and you aerate them, and then the product becomes better, and it will be able to make new cures. So you have Tylenol, but now you have Tylenol that also is a muscle relaxant to a certain point. So it cures headaches and muscle spasms or muscle pain. Now the price can go up. To do stuff like that, you have to just... the weird part of it is that what they want you to do is sort of have it just sort of travel along the assembly line more oftentimes. It's not like you click in the thing and you select... Well, there are times where you can click and select various amounts of air or time you leave it in a machine, and that will affect the potency of certain things, and then it comes down further down the line, and you can combine drugs and sell different things, and then eventually you can start making things that aren't just in pill form, which is very interesting, and it's fun, and it's cool to sort of move that along. But again, the general gameplay of it and the actual action of navigating this wild pharmaceutical business is not very enjoyable. And again, I think it's just because they sort of didn't do the best job porting it over from PC, which things can get lost in it. I personally had a difficult time with it. I don't know if you would, but because of that, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to give Big Pharma a 3 out of 5.
You know, that's a shame, my dude, because when I first saw that we were getting this, I was super excited, because the game and the screenshots and the layout really reminds me of Theme Hospital. Did you play that back in the day?
Absolutely. And the theme games were awesome.
Dude, and that game was like I loved Theme Hospital.
I feel like it was so in-depth. You could do so much with that. But
this game, I thought it was going to be like that, but you were like manufacturing pills. Is that not the case?
It's not. It doesn't play like a Theme Hospital as much. It's really just like make a conveyor belt and set up a machine in a certain area, and then make the conveyor belt either longer or shorter to have your goal met before it has to hit another machine, before it has to go along a different conveyor belt to eventually make it out the door. And then you can set prices higher and higher, and you're supposed to act like you don't have a soul about it. You know, like maybe it would start hitting too home, that aspect of the game, where I'm just like, I'm not a Martin Shkreli guy, you know? I'm not going to hike up the price of insulin for, 4,000%. My God. But if you do stuff like that, like, it seems like you get kind of praised in the game. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. I don't know. But yeah, like I said, having to navigate those menus isn't that good. Like, these sorts of things, you got to be able to click around really easily and quickly. At least that's how I feel playing them. And I don't know what I really expected. Like, it makes sense that you would go along these conveyor belts, but I felt like it would have been more, maybe I can hire people. Like, if there were actually people working there instead of just machines and conveyor belts, I feel like I would be more interested in it. I don't know.
Oh, well, hey, man.
Maybe for Big Pharma number 2.
That's it, perhaps.
You can have a security... Like, I was expecting, like, oh, you set up, like, a security guard because people are going to try and break in and steal the pharmaceuticals. You have to hire different doctors and see how long they can work and get them out. Now you got to hire the distribution stuff. Like, extend it beyond just the line. You know what I mean? Give me more jobs and aspects of that warehouse to play with.
Hey man, you can't have it all. But my game's a lot different than that one. So maybe this one will be more up your aisle after I describe it for you. And that game is going to be a Sisters Royale, just recently released in the Nintendo eShop for the price of $13.99. So let me hit you with a little bit of the synopsis here. Sparks flare around the man that all 5 sisters wish to claim. Introducing the new vertical scrolling shooter game, the first new game in 12 years from Alpha System, the team that brought you the shoot-'em-up Castle of Shinigami 3 in the Castle of Shikigami series, which is a really cool shoot-'em-up game that was released on a bunch of systems, including the Wii, where it is super expensive. 5 uniquely talented sisters are squabbling over which of them will marry the angel Yashin. Enjoy the heroic strategies of all 5. The tension bonus system means that your score and number of coins multiplied based on your distance from the enemies and their attacks, and the power shot system changes normal attacks into strong attacks, further ramping up the tension. If you think to yourself, that didn't really make too much sense with that wording, it's because it's probably translated, and it doesn't make that much sense when I'm reading it. Plus, once the TBS has been multiplied by 2 within a certain time, secret fairies will be hidden somewhere in the stages for you to find. Master these systems and set new high scores. It features an online ranking system as well. Only supports 1 player, so it's just going to be you, and basically You're given the choice to select one of these 5 sisters to be kind of like your main like character that you're playing as, and each sister has like a different look to them, and they also have a different attack. It's basically like the spread of like what their bullets are. So as you go through and you're choosing whatever sister you're going to be using as your main character, you will see they'll show you like the spread and the different attacks that they have. Aside from that, they kind of control pretty much the same. And you're going through these levels, and it's a like vertical like shoot 'em up type game. But what's interesting is you're not in like a spaceship or anything. You're literally just this sister, and you're like overhead from her, and she's as the game kind of unfolds and you learn more about the story, it's told in like a visual like novel anime aspect. So the characters like slide in the frame, and like when the sisters are arguing with each other, like one will slide in and say something, the other one will like jump right in front of the other one and say something that'll like plop on top of that one. It's real fast, and like it's funny. You can definitely see like the anime influence in it. But then when it switches to the actual game, the overhead view, it's very like, what's the word, kawaii. Like the
cute,
super, yeah, like it's just like a 3D like rendered video game character, but like from like Nintendo 64 style type like graphics from like the top of the head. So you can see like the hair, but I mean it's just like a cute like little character, and you're going through the level shooting all these enemies. And I gotta say, like, this game's pretty fun. I had a good time playing these shoot 'em up games. I choose to review them a lot because a lot of times they're usually like, once you get the control scheme down, you pretty much got the feel for the game. And I love being able to kind of pick them up and like put them down real quick. But like the graphics in this game are really good, and despite the fact that there's a lot of stuff happening on the screen, like the game doesn't really experience any type of slowdown. I think the graphics are super bright, very very colorful. Everything looks like really crisp. I'm a fan of the controls on this as well. It seems like it balances like getting out of the way of the enemy's shots as well as actually like getting in your shots pretty good. I had probably as much fun trying to dodge and look through a path through the different bullets that were coming at me as I had trying to defeat the bosses. And as you go through, you're fighting all the other sisters that you didn't choose, which is pretty cool. I enjoy this game. The music is pretty good as well, and if you're going to be playing one of these shoot 'em up games where you're pretty much doing the same thing over and over and over again, you want the music to be good because it kind of sets the tone of the level and of the game itself. And I feel like they do a good job at keeping that like up and exciting. And after each level, you get like a little bit of like a cutscene again, visual novel style, to kind of unfold more of the story. And like the dialogue, super cheesy, like but you know what you're getting with this game. But I mean, like the gameplay, like the shoot 'em up aspect of it, like it's fun. Like, and the graphics look good, and this is different. Like normally when you're playing a shoot 'em up game like this, like it's like a space type theme thing, and like it's just so similar. And I haven't seen like this type of shoot 'em up where it's like a visual novel, but also like
shooting.
But also like a shoot 'em up type game, which
wild.
I'm like, this is just different, and that's one of the cool things about doing the show is that like we're not really particular with what we review here.
We want to try everything.
Yeah, we really do try to ask for like everything. So a lot of times if you hear us review a title and you're like, why are they talking about this? It's because like we
somebody made the game.
Someone made the game. They were nice enough to give us a chance to check it out and talk to you guys about it. So we really try to like have the most unique type of titles on here, and this is definitely a good example of that. The only thing I really didn't like with this is that you can play it in every mode. You can play it in TV mode, you can play it in tabletop mode, and you can play it in handheld mode. But if you're playing this in handheld mode, like you got like, it's really annoying because it's a vertical shooter. So if you're playing in handheld mode, you're holding it. You got I'm assuming it's handheld, so you got the Joy-Cons docked in either side, and you got one hand on each side of the thing, and like it's cutting the screen off. So in the center of the screen, you've got the actual game, and then on the left-hand side, you've got the high score. It's like it's almost like having like the bars, like if you're
so like
it's like on
you
either
got
side.
the old like 4:3 aspect,
yeah, but
and
worse.
You're on a 16:9.
Worse though. It's way more intense. The game does have an option where you can flip it in the settings, where you can make it so that it's that it's vertical. But
how are you going to work that?
I don't know how they expect you to work that, because if you switch it to vertical, and I thought about it, but I'm like, I'd have to disconnect my Joy-Con, and I need both of them, and the left Joy-Con, I use the one with a D-pad, and that one doesn't have a battery in it. So I'm like,
what the hell are you supposed to do?
So I don't know. They want you to kind of like stand it up, and you can play it that way, and I guess they call that tabletop mode, or you can play
madness.
Or you could play it like regular tabletop, but you're going to have the bars on the side, and they do like put stuff on the side of the bars to like make it like not look as insane, but it is weird, especially for a game that has like graphics that are as good as this. But when you play it in like docked mode, it's a similar type of experience, but it's not as bad because it's bigger. But that's really the only part that threw me off. But man, did it throw me off, because like the game itself is super fun, and you do like it looks good. It just, you want to be able to see more of it, especially at certain parts where you're trying to dodge the bullets and like get out of the way of stuff. When it's when it's smaller, it's harder. There is also a downloadable character for this as well. So if you want another sister to play as, you can play as
sixth sister.
Apparently, you can play as Ode. She is $2.99. She is out the same day. That this game comes out. It says they actually have notes about her, which is pretty cool. I did not get a chance to play as Ode. She was not one of the choices I have. But the mysterious Ode can use magic and soar across the skies. Does she have her sights set on marrying the angel? Having come to duel with the sisters, she hides her face behind a mask. She has mostly magic attacks and jumps right into the sisters' conflict, it says. And it also adds stories and other interactions with her as well. So even if you don't fight her, even if you don't choose her, you probably can like fight against her. So that's cool. You get this whole game. If you don't want the DLC, it's $13.99, and if you do want the DLC, it'll probably be close to about $17. So it's not bad. I had fun with this game. I'm gonna give this game a 4. I would probably give this game. I'd probably be higher on it if it didn't have if it had just like a better type of way to display the gameplay itself. I don't like those
better
bars.
Aspect ratio.
But I mean, I like the music. I like the graphics. I like the mashup of the visual novel and the shoot 'em up. Like, it's different enough that I think it's definitely worth checking out for sure if you're a fan of either one of those genres.
Dude, we love both of those, and having a great mashup. Most times, things don't go wrong with great mashups. Let's know if you liked our mashup of me. I'm at Seth Trav. He's at From the Crib. That's our friend Glenn. Together, we are mashed up to be the Switch It Up show. Ladies and gentlemen, if any of that ever gets boring for you, all you've ever got to do is switch it up.